Colin Wright walking to the cage. Another guy with just a fun style to watch. He's got really crisp Muay Thai, and he's got good submissions off his back. Generally not looking to wrestle too much. And man, he's fighting Ray Trujillo, who is a dynamite wild card striker.
Yeah. He's not looking to wrestle much either.
No, he's not. And, it's a 5-rounder. Ray does not fight his fights like they're 5 rounds. He always tries to finish in the first, and if it goes all 5, he's fine, and he'll do it. But, man, this is another very intriguing matchup. This is essentially like new age versus old school.
We talked about, a guy like David Armas. And Ray Trujillo and David Armas have some things in common in that it can end in a hurry. And the entire fight, you may grind him out, but the entire fight you've got to be aware that one-shot power is there, and Ray Trujillo has it.
He's got it. He's got it at 55 and even more so at 45 because he can knock these 55ers out. And, and Colin is just tough and trains hard and is crisp. I've done some training with Colin, and he's got a technically sound fighter. I've actually cornered against Colin twice, fought 2 of my teammates, and never got a finish. Had to win decisions. Colin's tough. Colin's good. I'd say Colin may be a slight favorite to win this fight. What do you think, AJ?
Yeah, I'd say so. But, there's guys where I thought it was a bad matchup for Ray, and then he just comes through with something big. Yeah. And Ray's another one of those guys, if you look at his record, you might not think much of him. I think if Sherdog's updated, it's 21-21.
It's close. He's like 24-23, I think.
But one of the fights that I think of is Cameron Graves. Yeah. And Cameron Graves is a guy who's got a lot more tools than Ray Trujillo does. He's a lot more technical. He's technically the better fighter.
Right.
And that may have been another case of a guy who was too young in his career getting a guy who was too experienced. But Ray Trujillo is just, he's got that fight-ending power.
Yeah. And, man, you see him now. This is his 50-plus fight, and he's just as pumped as ever. He just did a jumping toe touch off the stage. That was awesome. You don't ever see that. Ray's pumped, and he hits hard. He loves being the legacy or the Fury champion. Walking out with the belt. And he fought Colton England for the 155 strap, and that was such a fun fight. Colton, I use Colton's far side armbar Kimura counter finish as an example in my jiu-jitsu classes, saying that counter works. And Ray always cool with his opponents. Well, not mostly cool with his opponents. And is surprisingly still spry for the experience he has.
Yeah.
He ran in so quick, he forgot to get checked by the refs. They pulled him right back out. They're going to check him make sure everything's up to code, and going to grease him up.
It's time to feel the fury! Introducing your challenger, fighting out of the momentum Porsche blue corner, standing 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighing 145 pounds, representing Paradigm. He holds a professional.
A lot of people may not remember if you're sort of new to the Houston MMA scene, but there was a time in this town where Paradigm was arguably the premier MMA school in the city.
I remember that time. That was 2012. I fought 3 other guys in a row, and it was not easy.
Yeah,
I remember.
Jeff Rexroad, Mike Bronzoulis, Brian Melanson, who eventually went on to the UFC.
Yeah, Rashawn Lewis was there.
Rashawn Lewis, Lester Beatrice. It was a murderer's row, especially around your weight class of 170-pounders. But that gym since kind of guys have gone their separate ways. A lot of them went to Metro with Salsa Lee's, and a lot of them have moved on from fighting altogether. But Colin Wright, one of the mainstays there, still keeping that thing going.
One of their coaches, too. Got a lot of respect for Colin. And
too.
Ray, this is such a fun fight. So Ray actually fights at a pretty long range, and he very explosively covers distance. That's what makes his striking so deadly. Not really one to establish a sharp jab, at least early on. So that was a Superman punch to a 2-3-2.
Yeah, and Ray's another guy that you don't want to have your back up against the cage with.
Now he will crash into you with an elbow or a forearm or a knee or a kick.
Ooh, big overhand left.
You know, as from a southpaw, now back to ortho.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, Colin needs to attack on that. I think he saw he had Ray hurt and
got his hands together, finish the double.
See what he can do here. I think he had Ray rocked, and he decided to go for a takedown instead of continuing a flurry on the feet.
That's one thing with Ray, he'll never, ever give up.
No.
He's been submitted a lot, but he's also got a lot of submissions. But, you know, it's no secret what Ray's trying to do. He's trying to go in there and knock you out. So Colin really pinching his knees tight together, maintaining mount. I'm sure would have gone to Ray's back if Ray kept turning. Colin landing some very effective strikes here from the mount, and this is early. The guys aren't very sweaty yet. It's hard to peel guys off.
Ray comes out through the back. You don't see that very often.
No, you don't. Colin got a full Thai clinch in MMA, not as effective as in Thai.
Good knees, though. Ooh.
So yeah, not a big surprise. Oh,
ooh.
That was legal. That was
to the body.
Not to the head.
Oh, what a takedown by Colin.
A defensive overhook Uchimata.
That was pretty.
What a fine blend between wrestling and judo.
Yeah, that was nice. And Colin really finding himself in a good spot, but Ray right back to his feet, and now kind of has the better of the positioning here.
Got an underhook, got Collins back on the cage.
Ooh, good right hand by Colin.
You know, Colin, look out for this combo. He throws a great right hand, which backs guys up into a walking left high kick. Dutch-style striking combination. Great way to land a high kick or a liver kick.
Nice entry there.
You know, Ray's defending this wrestling well, and this will tire really both guys out.
Well, he defends wrestling late, which can be even more tiring. I think he's not great at defending wrestling early, but once the guy's in on the takedown, he does a good job of maintaining balance and not going down, and that's when you can get tired. If you go for a takedown and lose it early, it's not as tiring.
Right.
When you get in deep and you still can't finish it,
really
that's when it drains you.
In,
and it drains you mentally, too.
You know, Colin has hands together, went for a big dump. Ray going for a Kimura, and it's deep. Colin may roll to his back to save his shoulder. Oh, Colin straightened his arm out. He needs to tuck that arm back under. A fun trick Colin could do is step up to his right leg and clasp his thigh. Oh, wow.
He's safe now. Wow.
And then Ray, you know, Ray going for a Kimura, now looking for an armbar, maybe a triangle. Colin is not only as tough, but as crafty as they come. Unless something's really about to break, he'll end up escaping.
That's not the way he wanted to fall. I know that.
Now Ray really needs to pull his butt into Colin's ribs there.
He just uses it to reverse position, which
Yeah.
I think is wise.
And now Ray on top, and his pressure's not subsiding whatsoever. So this is where both guys need to really understand they're going to be fighting here for close to half an hour.
Yeah, and this is almost another one of those takedowns. This is going to be an interesting round to score.
Ray hitting a trip there from the clinch. Finishing with some good strikes. Colin looking to reverse position, get stuffed. A hell of a first round. Both guys a bit labored. I want to say Ray takes that round.
It's tough. I mean, if what we talked about earlier is true, that finishing the round well wins you the round, then maybe you're right. It was a close round, and Colin had the first half of it. Ray had the second half. But let's also remember that, I mean, Colin spent a good chunk of that round in mount. You know?
That's right. You know what? That's true. And you know, if anything, I think Colin actually did win that round. But that just goes to show the short-sighted nature of finishing strong.
Yeah, sometimes you forget about what happened early in the round. But yeah, you got that takedown and had Ray pinned against the cage and basically sitting on his lap and landing some punches.
Yeah. But man, Ray has been here so many times before.
Oh yeah.
I'll never forget when Ray Trujillo fought Ray Blodgett back in the day for the Legacy 55 belt. It went all 5 rounds, and it was a dog fight. And Ray's had many 5-round fights. And I don't think Colin has. We'll see if that plays a role later in this fight.
Well, it's funny to think about when we were talking earlier about the cage door days. I think when the cage door was first getting cranked up, Ray Trujillo may have been the best fighter in the city of Houston. And there was a time when it looked like he was going to be the guy who made it to the UFC.
Yeah. He had one Superman punch knockout against a Brazilian guy that was just devastating. That's when I also saw him flying kick Lane Yarbrough and knock him out really bad from the closed guard, from the open guard.
Ray Trujillo in the maybe it was the late 2000, or I guess probably 2011, 2010, 2011-ish. He was about as good as it got here.
Yeah.
Colin touching him with that jab a couple times now.
I'm surprised to see Colin engaging back on the ground.
He's having success on the feet, and it's almost like he's having success in hopes that he can open up a takedown attempt. But I'd like to see, and granted, it's dangerous to be on the feet with Ray.
Colin's got a wrist ride here. Looks like Ray's savvy, though. Ray quickly gave up mount to protect his wrist, which means he can use his hands to block his face. But Colin in mount again. Oh, wow.
Oh, look at that.
Walking his feet up the cage to reverse position. See, that's a crafty veteran move right there. He was aware of his position. He was aware of his spot on the cage. That's what you got to watch out for when you're fighting these guys. They're not really easy to get over on. I'll tell you, I've seen Colin submit a lot of guys off his back. He's got a great triangle choke. It's exactly what he's looking to set up right now. Maybe even an omoplata. No, he's using a rubber guard to land those short elbows. An interesting mixture.
Ray holding on to that leg to make sure he doesn't close that triangle.
Oh, so he's got the triangle locked. He needs to switch sides if he wants to finish this. Colin needs to switch his feet up if he wants to maximize the pressure. And I'll tell you, Ray's tough. He'll work his way out of these weird spots.
And Colin may be looking to turn this into an arm bar.
And Ray's out.
Yep.
Again, see, that's where Colin took a slight risk in not locking up the triangle. It wasn't incorrect what he did. You can hit Kimuras from there, and then arm-modified chokes. And again, Colin knew that. But I don't think he had much time to play around with that triangle choke.
But again, we're in the middle of a round that at this point is difficult to score, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Both guys having some success, and you know, Ray's been in a couple bad spots and reversed them.
Colin was looking for tricep control to limit the punches. Now has wrist control on Trujillo. Trujillo really pressuring in heavy to Colin's guard. Could be susceptible to an armbar.
Nice elbow. Ray pushes his head against the cage wisely to prevent that armbar, but that's going to maybe set Colin up to another triangle attempt, and yep, that's what it is.
Oh,
and that one's good.
The wrong side. Slamming was the wrong idea from there. I
yep,
think
he's in trouble here. He taps, yep.
Yeah. Colin, triangle choke finish.
Colin Wright, your new Fury featherweight champion.
Yeah, Ray's okay.
Yeah, did a good job putting his head against the cage to keep him getting armbarred, but it did open him up for that triangle. And Colin is slick and fast, and like you said, good from his back. And
submissions and finishes, the theme of tonight's Fury card. You know, an action-packed card that really delivered tonight.
Good sportsmanship between the two guys.
Yeah. I've really become a fan of Ray over the years. And Colin now, too, you know, puts him at 8 wins. Really technical finish. That was solid.
Colin's a guy I got to interview a couple times way back in the day, and his story is really cool. It's a guy who basically got sent away by his parents to live in some weird camp in the woods because he had behavioral issues, and he just kind of turned his life around and found fighting as an outlet, and I mean, has really thrived in this thing.
Yeah, man, that's great to hear. I've always liked Colin too, man. He's like a rough and tumble fighter. He's just fun to watch. Takes shots well, gives shots well, and man, he's got good striking offense and good submissions off his back. He essentially is like effective where he needs to be effective, and that really paid off tonight.
And is now a champion.
Yeah. For a now very established local promotion here in Fury. You know, really having fights around Texas.
And he was an amateur champion here as well, so this isn't the first time that Eric Garcia strapped a belt onto him.
No, and I'm sure Eric's proud to have Colin as a champion. I'm sure Colin's proud to be a champion for Eric. And I'll tell you, Fury does not pull any punches. Their belts are nice.
Those are nice, yeah.
Nice championship belt.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes 3 minutes, 37 seconds into round number 2. Declaring your winner by way of submission due to a triangle choke. And your new Fury FC Featherweight Champion, Colin Wright.
All right, guys, that is going to do it for our broadcast tonight. Thanks to Alex Morono, the UFC's Alex Morono, for always doing a great job. We will be glad to have you out here again at the next Fury event. My name's AJ Hoffman. We will see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks, dude.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Garcia Promotions, we want to thank all of you for coming out to join us tonight. We know you could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us, and for that, we thank you. We hope you have a safe drive home. Be sure to sign up for our mailing list. Text Cage Combat to 22828. Thanks for coming out. God bless you. Good night.